Welcome back, my name is Benji, and today I want to welcome you to the Tour de France 2020 game for the first time on this channel. In today's video, I'm going to be giving you my first impressions of the new game, comparing it to 2019, and taking a look at the new features and changes. This video was recorded with a preview version, a pre-release version of the game, so my database is most likely outdated compared to the one that will actually come out when the game comes out. Nonetheless, when it comes to Alpecin and Ineos, those teams, the licenses of their teams, so the shirts and such and the rider names, those will be corrected on the 8th of June, 4 days after release. The publishers of the game announced that yesterday. Personally, I don't really mind, mainly because I can change the names and the fact that the shirts actually look very similar towards the ones in real life. Team N1, for example, is finally red and black like the real one, unlike last year with Team C that was green instead of the blue sky jersey. Anyway, let's take a look at the new features and it says what actually changed in the game. Luckily, the game offers us a bit of an overview when it comes to the new features so that we can explore them one by one in a second. First of all, we've got a new first-person camera to which we can switch every single time we want. So in time trials, road races and so forth, we can switch between third person and first person. So we can use this with the right joystick, so let's try it out in a second. We also have the addition of Liège-Bastogne-Liège, the Ardennes Classic, the Monument, so that's pretty cool as well. There's been a new rework when it comes to the time trial gameplay. I've noticed that you need to manage your efforts differently. You've got the time trial position and just the genuine bike position that you ride in normally, and also some focus on aerodynamics accordingly, I think. Another extra is in-depth management of effort, which is sustained effort. You can hold down the X button to push opponents to the breaking point or to lay down a heavy tempo at the head of the group, so that's also a thing I hadn't noticed yet, but very cool addition to the game. And the last two features are team accomplishments. Try to extend the list of accomplishments of each team by winning the various jerseys on each race in the race mode, so that's also pretty cool, a bit of an achievement system in the game then, I guess, to be able to win every single thing with each team, so that's a pretty cool add-on to give certain players a bit more replayability, I guess. Lastly, we've also got bonus points. Fight it out at each bonus point, positioned at the summit of certain climbs to gain precious time bonuses on the Tour de France. Okay, that's odd. Does it exist in real life? First of all, I'd like to take a look at LBL because since it's the oldest monument in cycling, I'd love to take a look how they implemented it in this game. I really enjoy that it's not some fake hill classic, that it's actually the real Liège-Bastogne-Liège parkour. And that's because the race is owned by ASO, so the Tour de France game obviously has the licenses towards the real name, the real logo, and so forth. Looks like we've got a bit of a different screen when it comes to selecting the team, and I kind of like it because we've got a better overview of what each team is good at. Next to that, it's not thrown into your face with a huge mini maillot of the shirt. Nonetheless, I like it, I certainly do. I'd like to ride this race with a starter, and that is because Fulsang has grown quite a lot since the start of the season due to his races in Andalusia and such, and therefore he probably will have a decent hill stat. Okay, numerous hills and short climbs litter the Liège-Bastogne-Liège route, making this race one of the most demanding of the season. Punch, resistance and endurance are three qualifiers that are required if a rider is to see his name added to the list of winners. 257 kilometers looks like a very accurate parkour. It is the current one with the finish in Liège, not the old one that finishes on the Côte d'Or. Then again, that is normal because it would be very sad if they add the old version of the parkour to the game instead of the new one. Fulsang stats are as following. We've got 82 hill and 82 mountain. Mountain a bit OP in my honest opinion, but the hill stat seems very much fair after 2019. Let's dive into LBL and let's try and win it. Before we venture into the race itself, I do notice that we need to get a top 20 in the stage with Fulsang and a top 5 with Lutsenko, so apparently Lutsenko is our leader now, which is kind of weird if our mission is getting Fulsang to win the race. So that's one thing I immediately noticed, that it's a bit odd having a personal objective that is totally the opposite of a mission. A very small detail I'm noticing is that Higuita's shirt is not exactly the real one, which is kind of unfortunate because the real one is really beautiful. It's just a generic national jersey on this one. Another thing I'm noticing is that there's a whole redesign of the energy bars on the right bottom, which I really like. I love the new design, and yeah, it directly sparks my eyes. Oh my god, when you're descending on the right, the profile actually changes into a minimap now to see what upcoming corners there are and such. That's a really good improvement because I always had the issue that you don't know what's behind the corner or something, and now you can see that beautifully. Obviously, in real life, riders most likely have reconned a few stages, and realistically, they know somewhat what the parkour is like. I love that I can see more information if I am close to one of my own riders. I can see their energy bars on their name tag, and also if they're protecting someone, what they're doing, and what their daily form is and such, though that is actually really, really cool. Nonetheless, I would like to take a look at the fast forward. We've got 4 fast forward points in this Liège-Bastogne-Liège. 2 of those are feeding zones, and 2 of those are narrow roads, but I do seem to have a bug at the bottom that the kilometers of distance towards each point is 0 kilometers, which is clearly not the case. I'm gonna try and move towards the first one on this one to see if that works as usual. Yeah, that's a bit annoying. I don't care if Ricosta attacks with 190 kilometers to go. I don't want my fast forward to be ruined by that, so it would be cool if there was an option to change when your fast forward should be stopped when riders attack, or if it should be stopped if riders attack. That would be very cool, because now I've got no choice and I don't care if Costa attacks, to be fair, so I don't exactly want it to stop then. I've arrived at the Côte de Stockeux, which is one of the highlights of Liège-Bastogne-Liège. We've got a very steep climb of 12.5% for 1 kilometer, and as you can see, it's a narrow section, and it looks pretty cool. Can't say much more about it. So many people at the side of the road, it's crazy. One thing I always miss in the TDF game is that I don't know how many kilometers there is until the next climb, because at the moment I think this is going to be the next ascension, which is late to know because I only know it on the climb itself. Roche-au-Faucon, this is one of the most important climbing sections of the race. I'm gonna try and punch towards the front of the race on this one with a bit of an attack because we've only got 15 kilometers left and still a pretty large breakaway with Quintana and such in it, so it's not exactly the worst amount of riders. Let's try and get past a few people here. We've got a breakaway with a lot of Belgians here. Costa, Viermoz, those are not Belgians, but you know what I mean. We had a rider from Sportive Vlaanderen and such. I think this is Quintana, and he's having so much trouble. I love that he goes side to side if he's really in trouble, trying to find the lesser steep sections of the climb. That's really realistic, and I love that. I really do. Julien Alaphilippe on the right now. Let's try and follow that because he's definitely one of the favorites here. Is that Simon or Adam Yates in my wheel? Might be Adam or Simon, I don't know. But we're gonna try and move towards my man here. Let's try and not spend too much energy doing so, but I don't want to miss a attack by Mr. Julien Alaphilippe right here. He's trying to bridge up towards the first 2 riders. I'm afraid that this was one of the last climbs of the race because, as in real life, we're going towards the flat finish in Liège right now. Fulsang ain't exactly the best sprinter, so that's a bit annoying. Nonetheless, that's my own decision when it comes to the team. I should have attacked on the last climb, that is for sure. Just gonna sit myself in the group and see if I can try and win with a late attack, maybe. That might be possible because sprinting against Fulvade, Van Avermaet and such, as Fulsang probably won't work. We're now going with 15 riders. Last 2 kilometers, I'll try and do a late attack with Fulsang right here. Looks like the others are thinking the same because Van der Poel's trying to attack. Van Avermaet as well in this corner now. I don't have the energy to really go for that unless I use my red bar now, which is actually a good decision to do with 1.3 kilometers to go. Let's sit in the wheel of Van der Poel, which is not going to work. Can I follow anyone else's wheel? I'm not going to win this. I think Mathieu Van der Poel has this, to be honest. We don't exactly have the best sprinter here. We're going to be finishing 6th or something in Liège-Bastogne-Liège. Not a great result, but Mathieu Van der Poel takes it in LBL. There we go, Mathieu Van der Poel on the podiums. Looks like nothing really changed when it comes to the podiums, but I didn't exactly need that, to be honest. I haven't said this yet, but I really like the new look and feel of the menu. It's a bit darker, and I love a bit of a darker thing because the last time it was a bit too bright for me personally. I'm more of a dark mode guy instead of a light mode guy when it comes to software, and this definitely has my taste more. It just looks more beautiful, to be honest. The only thing that I do notice when it comes to the layout is that the headers of the tables of the results are not really readable. The contrast is pretty terrible. It's a small detail, but it's obviously an important detail for people that are not as great when it comes to the eyes. There we go, we get 20 XP. This is the final screen of LBL. We get a 9th position with Jakob Fulsang. Not a great result, but I'll try and beat that in the future. This was genuinely to try and discover the changes a bit. And I've noticed quite a few, and I'm actually quite impressed by them so far, because there are some that I did not expect to be seeing, like the downhill profiles and such, the minimap. I really like that change. There we go, feature number 1 explored. Let's go on to the next one. Next up, I'd like to take a look at the time trial, because that's a pretty big change. One great thing is that there's been a new addition to the tutorials, and that is for the time trials, because I'm definitely going to need that, because I don't know what the new time trial system is about. We've got plenty of new things: increase effort, decrease effort with the L1 and R1 buttons. We've got step on the pedal with X, and TT position, that is the square button. So we've got quite a few changes here. We can switch between intermediate times as well with the arrows, so quite a bit to learn, I guess. Welcome to the training session for time trial races. Let's begin straight away with the time trial position. Pedaling, get into the TT position with square, then use R1 and L1 to manage your effort. Let's try that out at this very moment. We're on the starting podium. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm going to go towards the square right now to switch towards the time trial position. I can switch back as well. Okay, that's good to know. And now I can change the effort between L1 and R1. So it is L1 to lower my effort and R1 to up my effort. That is pretty cool. I do think that the loading screen told me the opposite, but I could be very wrong. I thought it said increase effort for L1, which is very odd. Either way, looks pretty cool. This way you don't have to hold in the R2 button every single second, which was a real thing that I really didn't enjoy on the TDF 2019 game, that you had to hold in the R2 button to keep riding in the time trial. So this is one big improvement, and it looks to be pretty cool. Time trial position improves aerodynamics and allows the rider for the same level of effort to move faster. However, TT position is increasingly ineffective once speed drops below 25 km an hour and maximum effort becomes more limited. Okay, that's cool to know. That means if we are in a corner, we need to change towards the other one. Significantly decreases, yeah, the maneuverability of a bike, that's what we just learned. To negotiate tight bends, you must return to your initial cycling position with square, and by braking with L2. Okay, and I would guess that if you stop braking, it would go back to the effort that you were initially riding in. So let's try that out. So we can switch between time trial position and normal position. Now I'm in normal position, so I need to use R2 to ride. But now when I switch to time trial position, I can use L1 and R1 to control my effort. I can switch back for the corners towards the normal position, because otherwise I don't go too fast. Going into this corner as well right now. Let's try and sprint away, and let's go towards time trial position again. And let's switch back for this corner, and I'm gonna have to brake hard because otherwise I'll die. Let's keep going into this one as well. Let's start sprinting like mad. Let's go back to time trial position above 25 km an hour, and there we go. That's how we do it. Well then, changing position at the last moment does carry some risk, but it could gain you a few seconds in some time trials. It's for you to judge your speed and your trajectory, so yeah, it gives an extra depth when it comes to time trialing, and it does make it a bit more difficult and a bit more strategic compared to what it was before, because before it was just trying to control your effort at the best possible way, and now you need to switch between the two modes to try and see if you can improve your time by using this in that corner and then going back after that corner at the exact right moment to the other TT position and so forth. Just, it's way more strategic, and I really like it. Next up, suggested effort. During time trials, a recommended effort indicator is displayed on the interface. We've got an indicator that tells you what effort to exert in order to gain a good time for the rider being controlled. It may increase if you push hard to regain momentum, or decrease to recover a bit. So according to this, I will need to respect the thingy. It looks like I'm doing exactly that at this very moment. We're going very much uphill at the moment, so it's a bit of a climbing thing. Let's switch towards the TT position so I don't have to use R1. You do notice that now we're going under 25 km an hour, it starts blinking on the right that I need to switch position towards the non-TT position, and that seems to be working. I am still able to go ham right here. I'm allowed to go at this energy according to my suggested effort on the right there, so I'm going to keep upping it at this very moment. because we've got plenty of energy apparently. I don't want to go too fast, but this is quite cool. It gives you a quick overview of what you need to go at this very moment. Perfect. The recommended effort is not displayed at the highest level of difficulty. It is for you to judge if you're riding too hard or not. So now you know the basics of the time trial. Be it as an individual or part of a team, all that's left is to take on some opponents. Okay, that was the time trial tutorial. Looks pretty simple and straightforward, and I'm really liking the changes. Next up, I would like to take a look at the first person mode, because that's a pretty big feature in the upcoming release as well. I've loaded up a quick game with Romain Bardet in the Ruta Corsa thing that the race is. I'm gonna go towards Fur. Oh my god, this is weird. First person riding within the peloton. Honestly, it's a bit weird because I genuinely don't know how to maneuver around riders yet, but I'm really liking it. Oh, that is brilliant. Let's try and go into the attack on the left here. There we go. Oh my god, this is beautiful. Here we go, let's dive into the downhill. This is so scary. And I'm afraid of heights in real life, so it's really difficult. Oh my god, that looks beautiful with the hands on the handlebars. We've got no real steep corners here though, so oh, I should probably not be going in aero at this moment because these guys are going faster. Let's attack a bit more in the downhill. Bit of a steep corner here. Oh my goodness. This is so fucking awesome. Actually, so awesome. Really. I'm so sold on this. This is my new life. I'm going to be doing this every day. Downhill challenges. Here I come, man. This is amazing. It makes it so much more realistic, and the cornering is a bit easier because it kind of rides better for me personally. I always have the same in F1 games as well, that I'm better in the car itself in corners than I am in third person. Let us dive towards the next corner here as well. And the downhill's over. That's honestly, first person, what a feature, man. That is so cool, really. Now I'd like to test the sustained effort. If we take a look at the right bottom, if I hold the X button, we see that the yellow bar extends past its maximum, and we now push harder without having to spam the X button, which is a really cool thing when it comes to climbing, I think, mainly because if I want to set a bit of higher pressure, then we can do so without having to slowly punch the X button instead of doing this right now, which is just holding it. Yeah, I'm liking that as well. The last addition seems to be these bonus points, and when looking at the Tour de France profile, I see that next to the intermediate sprints and the K1 points, we've got K1 points that slightly look grayish, like the second cat towards the end of the stage. I think that this is one of those bonus points, and looking at the profiles, they're always near the finish line, so it might be to motivate players to attack slightly early in the hopes that they gain extra seconds to try and make it more interesting instead of just waiting for the last climb. Like over here, we've got an option to go on the second last climb and get extra bonus seconds, so that's actually pretty cool. Database wise, I already said that it's not the complete version that I'm playing with, so all of this might be outdated. Nonetheless, I'll be showing you a quick overview of what the best riders per stat are right now. Ben Null being the best rider in mountain stats with 83 mountain. Caleb Ewan and Groenewegen being the best sprinters, although that Ewan has 83 acceleration and Groenewegen only 81, while they both have 83 sprints. So on paper, Ewan will be the better sprinter of the two. When it comes to time trial, Dennis is the best time trialist with 83 time trial. Remco Evenepoel seems to be stuck on 81 time trial, together with Roglic, and we also have Dumoulin on 82, which is a bit overpowered in my opinion. Luckily I can change that for my own playthroughs. Looking at the hill stat, the best two punchers are Fuglsang with 82 and Julien Alaphilippe as well. Alaphilippe does have a better acceleration and similar resistance though, so in general they are very similar. Nonetheless, I do feel like Fuglsang is very strong in the mountains with 82 mountain as well, while Alaphilippe only has 77 there. Thanks to Roubaix, Gilbert is the best cobbler in the game. Together with Peter Sagan, which is not that great of an assessment in my honest opinion because his 2019 season was not exactly the brightest. There we go, I think I've pretty much touched upon every single feature that was added to the game. If you like this first impressions video, tap that like button. If you want to stay on for TDF videos in the future, then subscribe to my channel because more are definitely coming. Again, thank you very much for watching, and I guess I'll see you next time. Goodbye.